Making It Work is brought to you by Wealthsimple, which gives everyone access to simple, affordable investing on cruise control.
Right after our wedding, my husband and I started saving for a down payment on a home. After running the numbers to see what kind of house we could afford, we quickly realized that buying a house at this point in our lives would be a terrible financial move, thanks to our massive student loan debt. Together, we finished college with a combined total of $117,000 of student loan debt. We had originally planned to pay our loans off over 10 years, and even this was challenging. In fact, my first job after grad school paid so little that 50% of my income was going toward my student loan payments. We considered numerous different options. We thought about changing to a 25-year repayment plan on our student loans, which would reduce our monthly payments and give us enough room in our budget to purchase a home. This was tempting, but we decided against it when we realized we would end up paying more than double what we actually owed. Compound interest is a nightmare. We knew we needed to come up with a better solution. We became inspired by a friend who introduced us to the debt snowball approach, and we committed to paying our student loan debt off in 3 years instead of 10 or 25. This method isn't easy, and it ended up taking us 4 years instead of the planned 3. It required us to make many sacrifices. However, we knew it would be well worth it when our student loans were paid off in full in just a few short years. Here are the 5 main things we gave up so that we could achieve such a big financial goal. Number 1. Outings with friends. When you're in your 20s, outings with friends typically include going to the movies, bar hopping, or grabbing dinner at restaurants. None of these things are cheap. While we were paying off our debt, my husband and I had a spending ban on outings with friends. We still got together with friends often. We just found free things to do with them instead. There are a surprising number of things that can be done for free. You just need to be willing to look for them. We've tried free yoga classes, gone on walks, hikes, checked out free festivals and fairs, had board game nights and Netflix nights, relaxed at a pool and a lake, and cooked meals with our friends at home. Number 2, shopping. In addition to our spending ban, we also had a ban on buying non-essential items. We have made a few exceptions to this rule. For example, we've paid for makeup, Netflix, and data on our phones. None of these things are truly necessities, but these are a few things we just aren't willing to give up. I've never been a huge spender, but I used to splurge occasionally on things like fancy haircuts and colors at a ritzy salon, manicures and tanning. I now never spend money anymore on beauty-related rituals, aside from my once-a-year haircut at a cheap salon. I went back to my natural ash blonde hair color so I wouldn't have to spend money touching up my roots every couple months. Number 3, new cars. We decided to drive old cars that are completely paid off. My car is 16 years old and my husband's is 12. Both cars, particularly mine, are what most people would consider embarrassing. They make a lot of cranking, squeaking, and rattling noises. We only get repairs when it's necessary for safety reasons. Over the years, the repairs have gotten a bit expensive, but nowhere near what we would pay for car payments, higher insurance costs, more expensive tabs, and interest on car loans. Number 4, our own place. The biggest sacrifice my husband and I made during our debt repayment was choosing to live with my parents and my older brother in a small, crowded house. I am incredibly grateful to my parents for allowing us to live with them, and I love my family dearly. But living with them is challenging. There is a common misconception that boomerang kids have it easy, but that is far from true unless your parents and siblings are the most laid-back people ever. When you choose to live with family, you're giving up a lot of your independence, privacy, and personal space. It takes humility to admit that your financial situation is bad enough that it warrants moving back in with your parents at the age of 27. Number 5, starting a family. We won't be able to have kids forever. I knew that within a few years we'd be 30 and my biological clock would be ticking away. Deciding to delay starting a family was not an easy decision to make, but it was the right choice for us. I take comfort in knowing that we will be free of our student loans when we do start a family. It will be much easier to teach our future kids to make smart financial choices if we can model good choices for them. In conclusion, it was worth it. Paying off massive student loan debt or any other type of debt in 4 years on entry-level salaries is not easy. Our culture encourages us to keep up with the Joneses, and there is so much pressure to do things at exactly the same time everyone else does. When I peruse through my Facebook newsfeed and see my friends purchasing homes, traveling the world, buying new cars, and starting families, it's easy to feel envious. The sacrifices we decided to make were difficult, but it was well worth it when our student loans were paid off in just 4 short years.
Getting out from under your debt is one of the most significant life upgrades you can give yourself. Another great way to focus on a stable financial future is to start investing, and with a company like Wealthsimple, it's simpler than you'd think. Wealthsimple is online investing that's as simple and human as it gets. In just 5 minutes, they'll build you a custom portfolio to fit your personal goals and timeline. Just answer a few easy questions and they'll manage your money for you on autopilot. Set it, forget it, and let your money grow in the background. You can turn on automatic deposits as well as set up a smart savings account with higher rates than big banks for your shorter-term goals, your wedding, your next great adventure, or that handbag you need. They also have a socially responsible portfolio that invests in green stocks and companies that support gender diversity. The fees are much lower than big banks, and TFD viewers will get their first $10,000 managed for free with no minimum deposit. Check them out at wealthsimple.com/TFD or use the link in our description. There are no account minimums, and it only takes a few minutes to start. No excuses.